question 2 tells us that this expression here is a general solution to a differential equation, and it asks us to then sketch the three solution curves that illustrate the three types of solutions. Firstly, the linear solution. Secondly, the solution where y goes to infinity as x goes to negative infinity. And thirdly, the solution where x goes to negative infinity as y goes to infinity. Sorry, other way around. Y goes to negative infinity as x goes to infinity. So the linear solution is fairly easy, right? We can see straight away that when the linear solution is y equals to 2x plus 1 and c is equal to 0. What about the solution y goes to infinity as x goes towards negative infinity? Well, that means I want to put in a very small but negative x. Now, this part is always going to be linear, so really the part I need to care about is this c divided by e to the power of x. When when x is very, very small and negative, right, if we think about our e to the x graph, it looks something like this, right? Y equals e to the power of x and y axis. What can we say? When x is small, is very, very large in the negative direction, then we can say that e to the x is very, very small, very close to 0. But when we divide a number close to 0, then the magnitude of that number is going to be big. So this term here, c divided by e to the x, is going to get very, very large when x becomes very, very negative. What does that mean? Well, that means that depending on the sign of c, I'm either adding or subtracting a big number. So, for when x goes to negative infinity. So, if I want y to go to infinity, I want c to be greater than 0 so that I'm adding a big number, and this will give me y is equal to 2x plus 1 plus c over e to the x. So, what about if I want y to go to negative infinity when x goes towards negative infinity? Well then, instead of adding it, I'm still going to add it rather, but instead of it being a positive number, I want it to go down now. I want it to be below the curve 2x take 1, so I want c to be less than 0. And we can see these three behaviors demonstrated on a Geogebra worksheet. So into this is the curve with the equation y is equal to 2x plus 1 plus c over e to the x. So we can see, right, when c is negative 2, so c is negative, it tends away, it tends down towards negative infinity as x goes further in the negative direction. What about if it's 0? Well, as we said, if c is 0, then we get the linear solution, which is y is equal to 2x plus 1. And that means if I make it positive, it's now going to go, as x tends towards negative infinity, now y will curve back up and go towards positive infinity. So they ask us to sketch all three on one curve. It should look something like this for you guys. This is the case where c is bigger than 0, where c is equal to 0 is the linear solution, and this one down the bottom is when c is less than 0. So again, I'll provide a link to this Geogebra worksheet in the description of this video. You can go and play around, and I'll let you use a few more values for c as well, so you can explore it over a larger range.